Hello everyone, let's talk about Excel assignment number 4. I've downloaded the sheet from our Canvas page, and the first thing we do whenever we download a new file is of course we save it someplace where we can find it. So I'm going to browse my computer and go look for a folder. Hopefully I can find a computer apps folder, and let's change this name from new to our last name, Excel 4. All I need is your name and the Excel number, and we are going to be doing some sorting and looking up stuff. This is the VLOOKUP that we're going to do later in this assignment is essential. This is something definitely you're going to be using in your future careers and or jobs. This is something that alumni have come back and talked about being a absolutely essential skill, and one of the skills that can make a huge difference between how much you're paid. We all want to get paid, right? So let's take a look at basic sorting. So we have here a big table filled with lots of data, and we want to filter and sort. We all know how to do sorting and filtering when we're shopping online. It's really that easy. So all we have to do is just grab this top header here with my cursor. I've selected it, and then we're just going to go to sort, filter, filter, use, filter dropdowns. This is like a little hint we put in the worksheet for you. So I'm going to go over here to the sort, filter dropdown, and I'm going to say filter. And you see it puts these little dropdowns here that allow us to filter by different categories. So like, let's say I wanted to see only people from Ohio. I can go over here and unselect, select all, and just look for Ohio. Right? And just leave it like that for your own homework, but for this video's purposes, I'm going to put it back to the way it was because all of my little hints here are lined up with our tables. But this is all I want you to do for this first one. Pretty easy, right? Everyone understands how to do the select all versus what category you want to look for. Just filtering, just like any other filter. Over here we can do sorting by unique or custom list, and it's very similar here. So let's take a look. Sort, filter, custom sort, expand the section. So I'm going to go right here. We'll say sort, custom sort, expand the selection, and what it does is it expanded it to the whole table. And right now it's sorting by east, central, and west. Let's reverse that to west, central, east. If you have a Mac, this part may differ for you. Here, let me finish the PC version. That's all we got to do for the PC. For a Mac, you may have to create a custom list. Well, you may have to go to Excel Preferences, which is where that little apple is in the upper left-hand corner, and go to Excel Preferences. We're going to click on Custom Lists, and then you're just going to add a new list that says west, central, east. It'll be west, comma, central, comma, east, comma. Just type it out and then add it in. And that's it for that. Not painful. Here's that random, all this data here. This was left over from a previous assignment. Let's go ahead and delete this. I'm going to right click and say clear, not delete, I'm going to clear the contents. And then here, let's put in a number between 1 and 10. So we're going to go equal sign, random between, so I'll double click here. And we'll say 1, comma 10. Hit enter. And I'll drag that down. Now, whatever numbers here, so I see April has 10, Ruby has 10. Let's say I like April and Ruby with these numbers. So every time I do a copy and paste, it'll rerun this equation and change the numbers, but I want to lock these numbers in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit copy, which is Control C or Command C if you have a Mac. And then I'm going to hit paste. Right down here, there's something called Paste Special, and I'm going to just click on values right here. For some reason I have to do it this way to get it to work. And now all my equation, that random between equation, is gone. You see when I click on the cells, I just see the number, and then we're done. Hit escape. And that's it. Okay. Now we want to filter multiple items from the filter dropdown. So we're going to do the filter function, and we're going to select Fresh Scooter Incorporated and above 7,000. So you're in a room, you've got these files here, and the boss goes, all right, show me the numbers for this company. And I only want to see numbers above a certain amount of money. So let's try it. Let's grab this header here. And then we'll go sort and filter. Right? And then from here, from this drop down, we'll uncheck select all and select Fresh Scooter Incorporated. Right? That's what they wanted, Fresh Scooter Incorporated, and any sale above 7,000. So I'll go to this drop down, uncheck select all, and just click on 7,000 and 8,000. And we have that. And that's all we need. And again, I'm going to bring this back to its former shape so that I can read these bubbles here. You can move these bubbles. Just move your cursor to a border until you see that little move icon, and then you can grab it and move it out of the way. So when your tables change shape, you can move these out of the way to make space. But these are all hints to help you complete the next assignment. Here we have multiple tables with data, right? And we want to merge and cross-reference the data. Have you ever seen a TV show where you have a guy, or you have a detective saying, all right, show me a list of everyone who owns a silver pickup truck. And then you hear them say, okay, now cross-reference that list with anybody who owned a brown dog who was in the park on Wednesday. And so you have like tables of people who own silver trucks, people who own a brown dog, and then another table, people who are in a park on Wednesday. And somehow you see a guy on a computer, you see a programmer on a computer screen typing away, and then the answer pops up. But what they don't show you is it's not really any kind of complicated computer hacking. It's just Excel. All they're doing is VLOOKUP, right? To combine two tables and cross-reference that. And there is an equation. It'll look something like this. Actually, here, let me show you. It's easier. If I just go to this first cell here, because I want to cross-reference minimum number, let's say, this shouldn't be bad words. This should probably be, so I'll go ahead and change this to violent scenes. So number of violent scenes and their corresponding rating. So you see, these are all the movies we have here. These are how many violent scenes they have. We want to know the rating. Here's another table that just shows how many violent scenes and then what will it do to the rating. Probably violent scenes that show blood. Okay. So I want to combine these two. So I'm going to go over here and type in the word equals, and then VLOOKUP. You see that? Once I see that pop up, I'm going to double click. Now this gets a little tricky because if we start clicking around, it will just record anything we click because it wants information right here. It's showing you a little formula already. Excel's providing you the formula of what numbers they want. So first it wants the lookup value, right? Then it wants which table are we using. Then we want to know which column. Then we want to know the range, right? So let me explain this to you. So the first one we're going to type in, the VLOOKUP value, is just this cell right here, right? And this one happens to be B146, right? Right here. So it's important now we type in a comma, or actually, if we're just doing one cell, but let's go ahead and grab all these cells here. This is our range. VLOOKUP from this range of all these cells. So we have B146 colon, not comma, excuse me, to B158. Now we put our comma. And then now we need our range. So I'm going to go over here to my second table, and this is the range of data, right? Now I want to lock it in here because these two tables are not equal in size or shape. So I'm going to put a $sign in front of my columns and or numbers. All right, so going over here, we'll say $sign, $sign in front of the column, and $sign in front of the number. All right, comma, and then what do we need? We need the column index number. So from this area, we want to look up this column here for our rating. So this is column 1, this is column 2. So we'll just put the number 2 there. And then we'll put our range lookup. We want to say, so we have two choices. We could say either true or false. If we say true, this finds the closest value that corresponds to it. It's not an exact value, it's just kind of an estimate. If we say false, then it will find the exact number. Anybody who's an expert at math could explain this to you, why true is that, why true is a range and false is exact. See right here it says using VLOOKUP true to find approximate match. All right, so I have that. Well, let's put in the word true. And close my parentheses and hit enter. And look at that. Formula spilled. Return multiple. So we spilled them into your neighboring blank cells. Okay, that's new. So I think if you recall in the beginning when I did this and I put equal sign and I did VLOOKUP, I only did one value, VLOOKUP. Let's see if that works. Look up, I just clicked on one cell and I did a comma. I'm just going to try this and see if it works. Table array over here, right? And then I'm going to put a dollar sign in front of the column and number. And on a PC, we can cheat here. If I click on all of these, I can just hit the F4 button at the top of the screen. It automatically puts that in there. If you're F4, if you have a PC or a Mac and your F4, your function bar at the top of your keyboard, that's the F1, F2, all the way through F12. If they're the color blue, then you may have to press a button at the bottom of your keyboard that says FN. That's also a blue key. It says FN's for function. If you press that, it's kind of like a shift key for fancy functions. If you press that, then press F4 while these are highlighted, it will insert those dollar signs for you. But you can just add them in manually. Who cares? All right, so here I have this range here. Now I got to put which column I'm looking at, column number 2. And then I want to say true. Close my parentheses. And I have my one rating here, and then from that we can just drag that down because we did the absolute cell reference. So either way, both ways work. All right, let's continue. And then that's how we did our cross-reference. We cross-referenced and combined two tables. So let's look at another example here. Same exact thing, except we're going to find an exact match. We want to find out from a salesperson's ID number who they are and how much they made. All right, so I'm going to go here, salesperson's name. I'm going to go equals VLOOKUP. I'll double click there. I'll click on this cell right here, and then I'll hit comma, then I'll hit the range of the ID numbers and the names, hit comma again, then I'm going to hit column number 2 because I want this column here, comma, and then we're going to say false this time because we want the exact answer, corresponding cell. Hit enter. So we know R5 is Manny, right here. Look at that, it worked. So here I'm going to take this and drag it down, and it's not working. Why isn't it working? VLOOKUP 167. Did I not put the apps? Oh, you know what? Look at this. It didn't work because I forgot to put in my absolute cell reference, my dollar signs. So I'm going to hit the F4 key. Let's try this again. Hit enter. Manny. Boom. All right. Now we need to know how much they made. So we're just going to do the same thing over here. We'll go equal sign VLOOKUP. We'll double click there. I'm going to put in Manny right here, comma. We'll put in over here, instead of doing the ID, we're going to do the name and the how much they made, that range. I'll hit F4 for that to put those dollar signs in front of the column and the row for each of these. You don't have to do F4, you can just type those in, comma. I want the second column again of the two columns that I selected, comma, and then we'll say false. Close the parentheses. And from that number, I will drag it down. Now it's important, and so here are the actual answers here. Don't just copy these and put them over there, but you can just check to see if what you're doing is correct. Make sure, look at where the parentheses are, look at where the commas are. It's a stickler. It has to be perfect for it to work. But if you know how to do that, six-figure income, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here we go. Now we're going to do the same thing with something called a horizontal lookup, which is the same thing except instead of going up and down, we're going side to side. So we have like a little inventory sheet of all of these vendors. We have the price of each one of these. We have the price of the things that they sell, how many they have in stock, on order. This is a typical buying table. And we have some order sheets, and we want to look up how much does Alice owe for the lamb chops. She's buying 100 lamb chops. So we're going to do a horizontal lookup here. We'll put the equation here, and we have a big table. Let's figure out the answer. Double click, equals, H lookup. I'll double click here. So we want to know what we're looking at, C200. That's right here, Alice Mutton, right? We want to look up Alice Mutton and how much she owes. So I'm going to click on Alice Mutton. That's C200. I'm going to put comma. Now I want to do the range of the data I want Excel to look at. So I'm going to go over here and grab the names and the prices of all these vendors. And that'll be B190 colon, is that a I? 191. And we don't need the absolute cell reference because we are moving. We do want our values to move this time, so I don't have any dollar signs in here. I'm going to say comma. We wanted to look at the second row here instead of the second column. We're looking at the second row, so I'm going to put the number 2 because we're going horizontally now, comma, and then we'll type in the word false because I want the exact value. This equation should be multiplied by this number. Now we say there's 100 of these orders, so we're going to multiply it by this cell, whatever the number that they ordered. So multiplied by this cell. Hit enter, and there's the value. Let's put some money. We'll go to this drop down here and we'll say currency, and that's how much she owes. $3,900 worth of lamb chops. Okay, so here, let's do it again. Equal sign, V lookup, horizontal lookup, equals H lookup. We'll double click there, and then we're going to say, I want to know this vendor, Philadelphia cream cheese, comma, from this range of data, right? We'll say comma. We want to know the second row of information, which is the prices. We'll say false, comma, false. We're going to close this parentheses, and we're going to multiply it by how many they ordered. In this case, it's this cell, C206. I don't want to see the number here. I will be checking that when I grade it. And we have $1,350. And that is it for that. Look, that's how we do a cross-reference, right? We call this VLOOKUP and horizontal lookup. And then down here, if we know the coordinates, if we know the location of a particular cell, we can have Excel dig out the value. So we have some numbers here. We want to know what number is over in this area in row 3, column 2. Like, let's say we have a parking chart or a seating chart, and we want to know what their ID number is. So here, index. This is called index. We'll go equals index. Double click on that. Then we want the range of where we're going to be looking for our data. So I'm going to grab these numbers here, 219 to D223. Say comma. Then I want to know the row position, comma, and the range. And you see here, this always shows you little colors. It says blue and red, and it shows you here on the Excel sheet which numbers are corresponding to which cells with color. So it says B213 is red, this one is red, that's B213. And these are blue. It shows that. Okay, we'll hit enter. So we know row position 3, column 2. Okay, we know row position 3, 1, 2, 3, column 2, 1, 2 is 31. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Save your work, upload it to Canvas, and you are done. Good night.